Somewhere in the world today, millions of people are waiting for the same thing: a cure, a medicine that can treat diseases that currently have no cure, a treatment that can extend life, or even save a life that once seemed impossible to save. But behind every medicine we know today, there is a long, complex, and expensive journey. A journey that can take years, sometimes even decades. And in the middle of this challenge, a new kind of technology is beginning to change everything: artificial intelligence. Not as a replacement for scientists, but as a tool that is accelerating the discovery of medicine in ways that were never possible before. But how can a machine help discover medicine? How can algorithms contribute to one of the most complex processes in science? To understand this, we need to start from the beginning, from the human body itself. The human body is incredibly complex: trillions of cells, thousands of types of proteins, hundreds of thousands of biochemical interactions happening every second. And when something goes wrong inside the system, we call it disease. Disease can come from many sources: viruses, bacteria, genetic mutations, or small failures in highly complex biological processes. To treat these diseases, scientists must find one critical thing: the right molecule. A chemical compound that can interact with a specific biological target in the body without damaging everything else. And this is where the biggest challenge begins. Because the number of possible molecules in the universe is not in the millions, not even billions, but potentially trillions upon trillions of combinations. Traditionally, scientists would test them one by one, in laboratories, through physical experiments, over long periods of time, with extremely high costs. Many drug candidates fail halfway through development. Many research projects take years without success, and many diseases still have no effective treatment. Then came a major shift: modern computing, and later, artificial intelligence. AI does not work like humans. It does not get tired. It does not need rest. And most importantly, it can process millions of possibilities in a very short time. In drug discovery, AI is used for one main purpose: to narrow down possibilities. Think of it like searching for a single needle in a haystack the size of a planet. A human might spend a lifetime trying, but AI starts with patterns, with data, with chemical structures, with known biological interactions. AI learns from massive amounts of scientific data, thousands of research papers, millions of experimental results, chemical databases, protein structures, drug response data from real patients. All of this becomes fuel for machine learning models. And from there, AI begins to recognize patterns that are not always visible to humans. For example, certain molecules that tend to interact with specific proteins, or chemical structures that are less likely to cause side effects. Or combinations that theoretically could work, even if they have never been tested before. This is where AI becomes extremely powerful. It does not replace scientists, it expands their capabilities. Instead of testing hundreds or thousands of compounds, AI can screen millions of candidates first, eliminating unlikely options, highlighting the most promising ones, and dramatically accelerating the entire process. One of the biggest breakthroughs in this field is protein structure prediction. Proteins are essential components of life. They act as biological machines that carry out almost every function in the body. To understand disease, scientists must understand protein structures in detail. But determining these structures experimentally is extremely difficult. It can take years for a single protein. However, modern AI systems can now predict how amino acid chains fold into complex 3D structures. This revolution has opened a completely new door in medicine. Because if we understand the shape of a disease target, we can design a drug that fits it precisely. This is often described using a simple concept: lock and key. The protein is the lock, the drug is the key, and AI helps design the perfect key. But the process is not simple. The human body is not static. It is dynamic, constantly changing every second, and a drug that works in one condition may fail in another. This is where machine learning becomes crucial. AI models continuously learn from new data, from lab experiments, from clinical trials, from real-world patient responses, and the system becomes smarter over time. But perhaps the most fascinating development is AI's ability to design entirely new molecules, not just selecting from existing compounds, but creating completely new chemical structures from scratch. Generative AI systems can imagine new molecules, combining chemical patterns in ways that have never been tested before. And then scientists test these AI-generated candidates in laboratories. This represents a major shift from discovery to creation. However, like all powerful technologies, AI in drug discovery comes with challenges. One major issue is data quality. If the data used to train AI is incomplete or biased, the results can also be flawed. Another challenge is that not all AI predictions work in real life. What looks promising in a computer simulation may fail in biological testing, because the human body is far more complex than any digital model. There are also ethical questions. Who is responsible if AI suggests a harmful compound? Who owns a drug discovered by an AI system? Is it the scientist, the company, or the technology itself? These questions are still being debated around the world. But one thing is certain: AI has fundamentally changed the speed of drug discovery. Processes that once took years can now be significantly shortened. And in some cases, AI has already helped identify potential treatments for diseases that were previously extremely difficult to address: cancer, rare genetic disorders, even emerging viruses. We are entering a new era of medicine, an era where humans no longer work alone in laboratories, but work alongside machines that can see patterns beyond human perception. However, even as AI becomes more powerful, human scientists remain irreplaceable. Because at the end of the day, AI is only a tool. It does not understand human suffering. It does not understand hope. It does not understand what is at stake when a life is on the line. That understanding still belongs to doctors, researchers, and human beings. AI accelerates the journey, but the direction of that journey is still decided by humans. And perhaps in the future, we will see a world where drug discovery that once took a decade can be completed in months, or even weeks. A world where diseases that once seemed untreatable become manageable, predictable, and treatable much faster than ever before. But even with all this progress, one question remains. If machines can help us discover treatments for almost every disease, how far are we willing to let them go inside the process of human life? Because in the end, this is not just a story about technology. It is a story about hope, about life, and about how humanity uses artificial intelligence to fight one of its oldest enemies: disease.